Hello and good morning. It's a pleasure to be joining you once again on this beautiful Monday morning.
Yeah. Welcome to a brand new week, ladies and gentlemen. This is your number one breakfast show on television.
Yeah.
I hope you got enough rest on the weekend.
Yeah. Mary looks well rested.
Yeah, she does. She does.
That's surprising, considering the fact that I was at work until past 10 p.m. last night.
Yeah.
She just keeps trying to rub that.
She always does
I was
that.
at work.
No,
You're looking good.
looking well rested.
Your weekend in the middle of the week. Like, who does that? So I don't understand.
No, Uncle, you want me to break down, right?
No, I'm just saying that, so don't try and make us feel
Now
bad.
you
that
sabi.
worked on
Titi,
a
your
Sunday.
dress looks lovely, by the way.
So does yours. I think
Oh,
we're in a
thank
very
you.
blue mood today.
Well.
You know, we've got the
Let's
same
give it-
shade on. But it's a Monday,
Yeah.
and we're back with some sunshine. We're going to be adding some charm as well to make a huge difference to your day.
Yeah, we hope that you enjoy a fully loaded show because we have prepared for you today. So stick around. My name is Yomi Hiwope.
And I'm Titilayo Onyiso. Make sure you stream with us on tvcentertainment.tv if you have to go anywhere. Or you could even meet us on Facebook at TVC Connect.
Yes, indeed. Now, of course, send in your comments across the social media platforms. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC.
Now, our app is, as always, available for download from the Android or iOS store. And of course, your mobile devices can hook you up and help you watch us from anywhere in the world.
Yes, indeed. So we're ready for what the day is going to be like. And we're going to be starting with the latest updates in the world of tech. And for our first performance this morning, we have Wolfgang Records artist Soch. And right after that, we're going to have a second musical performance this morning from versatile R&B singer Blessed.
You're the only one that I would give my heart, and I promise I will love you till I die.
Aw, love that one. And on motivation this morning, stick around. We're going to be discussing the power of self-awareness. We have Tosin Imoheme heading back into the studio once again to take that with us.
Ever heard of ceramic wax sealant and nano ceramic coating? I don't know what that means, but Auto Sparkle will be here to talk about this paint protection that you can use in your car to keep it shining for months.
Our Mondays are almost incomplete without spoken word. We have a performance of spoken word coming up. We have a rapper and poet,
With the
Toby
skies
Tone,
unsure what
joining
weather
us.
suits the day, I'm only acting. I'm only fine because you really do not know what you're asking.
On SME today, we have the CEO of Kijikpa Fashion label, Adewale Adegbayi, joining us to talk about his business and lots more.
Now, I'm not quite sure. Is that Kijikpa or Kijipa?
Well,
I wish Mr. Musa was
find
here
out
to let
from-
us know.
Kijikpa, right?
But you know what it means, actually?
What?
It actually has to do with fabric.
Oh, well.
Amazing. And some people actually bear that as name. Like, people who probably had a clothing business running in their family for ages. So I've always wondered at the correct pronunciation.
Yeah.
So there's something I did. I'm sorry, let's take you back. I want to run on that word you said, ages. There's something I've not seen in ages, and that's someone getting pummeled in a boxing ring. Not seen that in
You're
ages.
wicked.
Oh, yeah.
He got pummeled.
Oh yeah.
in
That
a-
was
there was
pretty
a boxing bout, or should we say?
pretty intense.
Welder,
Pretty
Tyson
intense.
Fury.
Yeah.
By I think about 6 hours before the match, there was a betting company that just put the odds at 30 to 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
30 to 1 against Fury.
Really?
I think that was
Fury.
foolish.
You know, look,
Wow.
because of his history, because of the fact that, at some point he had ballooned out of shape. It looked like,
Yeah.
his best days were over, essentially.
But-
And, he contemplated suicide, went into depression. So, this was a guy that okay, you know how you just have a few fights left in you, that kind of thing. That okay, let's see what we can do for him. Let's just allow him and pay him off in quotes, and then the guy comes back.
You know, Fury is
That's his
actually
thing.
still a young man. He's about
Yeah, well.
31.
Yeah.
I know he's Wilder that is 34. Fury is still a young man, and he's just somebody that has been through the rough patches. I remember when he and Wilder were having their usual pre-fight exchanges.
Yeah.
When Wilder was like, you used to, you know, be mentally imbalanced, blah, blah, blah. He said something. He said, I fought demons. Who are you?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, I can beat you up. And then there's also an interview that Anthony Joshua did when he was asked that who is he most frightened of, afraid of to fight. And he said, it's Fury.
Yeah.
And not because of his size or
Yeah.
whatever, but because he said the guy has some
Things he
nuts
needs to work
loose.
out. Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
he has
Things
some
you-
nuts loose.
but one thing I saw something online, some tweets from both sides, where Tyson Fury says, "With God, all things are possible."
Yeah.
And Wilder says, "Not even God can save you."
On
Well,
February
all those,
22.
I was like,
all those things are a
okay.
bit, you know, it could have been doctored. So
Are you sure about that?
See, be they doctor or not, it's boxing. They mouth off a lot.
Yeah.
It's actually even normal to say things like that. Like,
Yeah.
you look at someone, you're insulting their lineage, you're doing so
Yeah.
many things. Meanwhile, if they catch you outside.
Yeah, because the truth is that even like in football, the part of the fight is psychological.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you want to go. A lot of times when once you hear Liverpool or Manchester City, the other team is scared already. They're
Already.
like, so the match is already sort of lost and won, which is why people bet against, because they
Yes.
know that the way Titi is looking.
She's not looking confident. And you're very right. And that's why
You know?
psychologists are important for them.
Yeah.
And so you find a coach, for example, e.g. Uncle Emery, who by the way now is gone, telling the press that, oh, we know we cannot beat.
Oh.
You've already
Yeah.
messed up the psyche of your players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are going to the field with the thoughts that
These
well,
guys
we
are going to
can't
beat
beat
us.
these people.
Exactly.
My issue is, you know, how violent boxing actually
Yeah.
becomes
I
at a
didn't-
point. Apparently, his eardrum popped
Yeah.
at a point, so that's like
So
it's
that
taking it to another
I think
level.
I mean because Fury went in as the underdog. I think what's his name, Wilder, just opened himself for
Yeah.
Yeah.
a bit too confident and all that. So he opened himself to too many oncoming blows.
Believing that
In
he could
fact,
catch up
I don't-
later.
it's not even punches any longer. It was,
Yes, they were blows.
You know when they say when we're younger, when they say I will blow you,
Do you know what it means to go
I
through
will blow you.
7
That's
rounds?
what happened.
And he lost all 7.
It was
You know
terrible.
what?
It was
There's
terrible.
definitely
We'll
going
talk
to be
more
an
about it
update
later.
on
We'll
the-
talk more.
on
I didn't know
the
you
about
ladies
that.
would be interested in boxing.
Boom.
What?
Ah.
You see?
No,
you
she
never
is
know.
because of Anthony Joshua.
Well, hey, you know I actually box as well, so ding, 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 it's time for the news. And Ibrahim is standing by.
Good morning, guys. Titi the boxer. You know, one of the words that was used to describe the fight, it was like when Fury landed Wilder a punch, he said it was discombobulated.
That word always gets me.
Right, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Lawrence Erujapo, has denied allegations that he forged a National Youth Service Scheme exemption certificate submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission. Mr. Erujapo, who spoke through his counsel, explained that there was an error in his name in the certificate issued to him, and it has since been rectified by the NYC. He adds that issues relating to his NYC exemption certificate were already in the public domain before his nomination as People's Democratic Party deputy governorship candidate in the last election. But the All Progressives Congress says it has uncovered plan by the Bayelsa State deputy governor and the PDP to swap the allegedly forged NYC certificate presented for elections. According to the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of APC, Yakini Nabina, the party has already obtained the certified true copies of the alleged forged certificates. He also warns both INEC and NYC to be cautious and not fall to pressure or move by the Deputy Governor and PDP. It will be recalled that an Abuja area court on Wednesday ordered the Department of State Security to investigate the NYC certificate forgery allegation against the Bayelsa Deputy Governor. The Supreme Court has fixed Wednesday for the hearing of the All Progressives Congress application for a review of its judgment, which overturned its victory in the last governorship election in Bayelsa State. According to reports, the parties to the case have been served with a notice for the scheduled hearing. The disputed Apex Court's judgment was delivered barely 24 hours to the inauguration of the party's governorship candidate, David Lyon, and his running mate, Bill Barakuma Degi Eremenyo. The five-man panel of the court, led by Justice Mary Peter Odili, disqualified Mr. Eremenyo's candidacy and ruled that the disqualification had rendered the joint ticket a nullity. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has commended the leadership style of Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State. The former number one citizen of the country gave the commendation during a courtesy visit to the governor's residence in Benin City. The meeting between the duo, which was held behind closed doors, lasted for a few minutes. They spoke with journalists after the meeting.
Traditionally, as somebody who has been a president, a senior political office holder, when you go to a state, you have to pay courtesy call on the chief executive of the state. If you are free, if you are not too free, fine, but at least he will inform you. So we just come to greet the young man who is trying his best.
And you heard what he said. Just courtesy, when you are going to visit the states, you want to inform the person who is in charge of the state that you are coming. And if you have time during your visit, you can now pay him a courtesy call. Unlike the unfortunate incident that we've been having, in Edo State, which is really sad.
In what would have been another disaster on the Otedola Bridge, a tanker fully loaded with 40,000 litres of premium motor spirits discharged its contents, causing panic in Lagos. According to reports, the tanker disconnected from the truck's head and in the process spilled its content. There was, however, no explosion as a result of the incident, as emergency officials were swiftly mobilized to the scene. The Lagos State Fire Service personnel and the State Emergency Management Agency officials, as well as officials of the Federal Road Safety Corps, were on the ground to manage the situation. The incident locked down the Lagos-Ibadan expressway as traffic gridlock piled up while the recovery operation was ongoing. Tobacco smoking poses a huge burden to Nigerian youths, and it remains a major global public health challenge. Civil society groups are asking the federal government to immediately start the effective implementation of the tobacco control regulations. The belief is these will help to end the rising consumption by youth who remain addicted. Recent experiences shared by Nigerian air passengers have spotlighted the challenges faced in Nigerian airports. Diversion of international flight from Nigeria's airports is common during the Harmattan season, and when there are inclement weather conditions, the absence of modern landing equipment is responsible for this ugly scenario, and Nigerian lawmakers are not happy about it. They say they will enact a law that will protect air passengers and ensure they are compensated once their rights are trampled upon. Passengers whose flights could not land at their specific destinations were dumped in nearby airports without being properly taken care of. They want the federal government to complete the installation of modern landing equipment across the nation's airports as a matter of urgency. That's it on the news update for this hour. It's time to let you know what the weather will look like today.
Mary, today is Monday, the 24th of February, and we're starting with the Punch.
I have the Punch newspaper in my hands now. It says, Labour, NBA, others flay Buhari for backing National Assembly jumbo pay. In spite of huge pay, corruption is on the increase, say the Lawyers Association. President's statement deceitful, says Labour. It's disappointing, says NECA. Right beside the masthead there, it says Supreme Court hears Bielsa poll judgment review Wednesday. Dangote invests 63 billion naira in Enugu-based automaker, buys 3,400 trucks. Interesting. Interesting news there. It also says APC Governors Forum DG Rights Panel blames Oshomole for crisis. Foreign reserves dropped by $1.64 billion in 5 weeks. And right at the top there, we've inaugurated instrument landing system in Lagos, Abuja, say Nama. I'll wrap it with this one. There's a story on how SARS caused the death of Remo Stars footballer, according to an eyewitness. And that's what we have on the cover of The Punch.
All right, let's check out the Vanguard with the headline, White Presidency Should Return to South in 2023 by El Rufai. Says no justification for Northerner to take over after Buhari's 8 years. And up here, Obaseki Oshomole's feud worsens as APC leaders differ on attack. Ondo 2020, I'm not threatened by any gang up against my re-election, Akeredolu says. And banks' lending rates defy crash in TB yields. And Iwo Royal Rumble, AIG lied, Oluwo punched me, Agbu insists. Dangote invests 63 billion naira in Southeast economy, Neji says. And NDIC liquidates 425 financial institutions. Wow. And Serap sues Gbajabiamila reps over plan to spend 5 billion naira on 400 exotic cars for National Assembly members. And APC no longer a functional political party, DG APC Governors Forum says. And finally, Zenith Bank crosses 200 billion naira mark, posts after-tax profit of 208 billion naira. That's amazing.
That is.
And that's what we have on the Vanguard.
I have the Nation newspaper with me now. It says governors upset by excess crude account depletion. Talks on insecurity, reconciliation of oil receipts for next Thursday meeting. Right at the bottom there, it says Supreme Court to hear APC's request for Bielsa judgment review on Wednesday. Just under the masthead here, it says CBN sets rules for domiciliary accounts. NERC begins consultation on new electricity tariff. Begging not Islamic, says Emir Sanusi. Ruler cautions on Al-Majri. And I'll wrap with this. Ex-naval director forfeits 500 million naira to federal government. Court okays action. That's what we have on the cover of The Nation.
All right, we've got the Daily Sun here. Let's just squeeze that in quickly. Governors to appoint CPs in Senate's police master plan and state police to be independent. Amotekun, not an attempt for Yoruba to secede. That story is on page 43. And this Wednesday, Catholics to wear black on Ash Wednesday over insecurity. A federal government incapable of protecting Nigerians, declare bishops. And Enugu airports, fresh fears over reopening date. And finally, on the cover of the Daily Sun, Bielsa, my deputy, has no forgery case, Governor Dewey says. And that's what we have on the Punch, on the Daily Sun. Apologies.
And that's all we can take, really, on the headlines for this hour. We're going to be taking a quick break, but then we'll be back with traffic. Hello, good morning and welcome back. We're about to give you a few hints on the best route to take for you this morning to get to your destination faster. As always, we'd like to encourage you to help other road users by dropping relevant traffic situation reports. Not the one that makes you look good in the selfie. No, the one that helps someone get to their destination faster. Use it on all our social media pages, talking about the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. Starting from Lasu area of Lagos right now. And now if you're coming from Lasu main gate, there is an alternative route to the Lagos-Badagry Expressway you could take if you would like to shave off about 12 minutes from your journey. And as soon as you make that move, you will and you're heading towards Orile Igomu, you'll have a 59-minute journey ahead of you. No real major trouble spots as at this time, except for First Avenue Gate, and that's where the Mile 2 bridge is. So Mile 2 bridge is going to cost you probably about 10, 20 minutes of traffic, but then from there, it's basically plain sailing. If you decide to stay on the Badagry Expressway, heading to National Theatre side, as I said earlier, it's going to take you about 59 minutes if you're coming from Lasu. I'm going to be checking out some other areas of Lagos in just a bit, but I'll check on Mary and Yomi to see if they have any updates from social media.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you go first.
I just wanted to take a few tweets here. I've got there's a fallen trailer with 40-foot container at Mile 2 bus stop inward Orile. Traffic has started building up and will increase with time. I don't know how people are going to get past this. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
but that's what's happening right now. That was 2 minutes ago. That's around Mile 2 bus stop, which is a normally busy area anyway. So now that you have a 40-foot container fallen, it's going to be crazy. Also, there's traffic from Ikeja roundabout to Maryland. And the person said it's mado. And yeah, finally, somebody else is talking about the traffic. Also the one in Maryland as well. So the whole of the stretch on Mobolaji Bank Anthony is pretty busy right now. And that's what's happening on Twitter from here.
Do you want to give us more updates before I give mine?
All right, sure. I have an update if you're coming from Aja area of Lagos, heading towards what I like to call VI last bus stop, talking about Bonnie Camp. Now, for some reason, I'm not sure whether this is a regular thing, the Aja junction is locked down. I'm not sure why. Usually, because of the new bridge, it opens up quite easily, but it does seem to have a 22-minute delay as of right now. And that delay is going to go all the way out until VGC Junction. Now, VGC Junction is also a major trouble spot that we hear about regularly. So just prepare yourself between Aja and VGC, 22 minutes. And that's a place that shouldn't take you up to 2 minutes on a normal day. Moving along the Lekki Expressway, rather, you will have a free road until you get to the Lekki Conservation. Once you get to Lekki Conservation and Chevron Junction, just after the toll gate, you have a 36-minute delay just getting through that junction, going all the way down to, if I am not mistaken, Circle Mall. So between VGC, or let's say Chevy View, between Chevy View and Circle Mall, you have a 36-minute delay. All in all, getting to VI is going to take you 1 hour, 38 minutes if you're coming from Aja. Expect some more traffic if you're going past Tickle Bay, or they call it Folix now, I think. It slows down again, of course, at the Marwa Junction. It's a roundabout that's being turned to a junction, which is causing some major issues. For some reason, that whole road is on lockdown. And by God's grace, you'll get to your destination in 1 hour, 38 minutes. Now, if you take the alternative route, avoiding the toll gates, you have a 1 hour, 50-minute journey ahead of you on the same route. So it might actually just pay you to stay on the toll gate route this morning if you need to be on the move. Yeah, that's what I have. Mary, do you have anything for me?
Okay, so I see fast movement on Eco Bridge inward Akpogbon. That was just about 4 minutes ago. Bumper to bumper currently from Mile 2, okay, inward Mile 2 on the bridge en route Orile. Must be because of the container vehicle that crashed. Cathedral on route Falomo currently good to go. That was about 7 minutes. And this a call out. I'm very sure somebody ought to have called the emergency services, but there is a corpse on Eko Bridge close to entrance on Ijora to Akpakpa. Said to look really scary, so perhaps relevant agencies can do something about that. I've got a few more, but I'm sure you want to join us in the kitchen right now.
Yes, I do. All right, and that's all we have time for on traffic updates today. Please drive safe, take it easy, and you will get there in good time.
Yeah, I also gather Unipanu in Wajibu is currently good to go.
Good to go, yeah.
And
I think maybe because of the back, I think there's some kind of blockade or something maybe going on along Ikorodu Road before Nipan, because right after that it looks like it's free.
Seems it's free.
Because Maryland is busy, and that axis is also quite busy and very tight. So there's probably some kind of impediment along the road, yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. That seems to be what everybody's talking about.
Did you say Anthony Joshua and
Oh, sorry.
Did you, is that what you said?
Deontay Wilder, of course.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Anthony Joshua too is already, we need to bring him into the gist, because if Anthony Joshua faces Tyson Fury,
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's
not a question. It's an
it's
open-end
a debate.
statement.
It's a debate.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a very strong possibility, but I think it will depend on whether Wilder wants a rematch.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if Wilder wants a rematch, that will come before.
It will
the match
come
will be.
before, but it will still not make Joshua escape. So apparently, in the contract
that.
that Wilder and Fury signed, there's that open end that there is like a triangle. So there might be a trilogy where Joshua is going to have to fight one of them. At the end of the day, whoever wins, be there a rematch. Though I think Wilder would be crazy to do a rematch, but that's fine. But be there a rematch or not, Joshua is definitely entering this mix. I was frightened for him for Wilder, but seeing the Fury in Fury yesterday, hey,
Okay, so
I don't know.
there's something trending,
Yeah.
hashtag. So I went to Unilag, and I know you did too.
Yeah.
I didn't. So
Yeah, so
I might
when
not
you
be able
see
to
a
identify.
hashtag Unilag blackout, you begin to wonder how bad could it be that
Yeah.
it's now trending. Because obviously there were times where there was no lights.
Yeah.
It's normal. But if you say blackout, that for it to trend,
So I guess
Many things
Okay,
trend
so
these days, though.
when I was in Unilag, I don't know about you guys. So Unilag generated its own power,
yeah.
right? To a large degree. So you had, of course, the power coming from the national grid, which was probably 60%. But within the campus system itself, there's Unilag NEPA, you know, and so they generated their own power, which was about 40%. So even when nationwide or something is happening to the national grid or anything, Unilag was still able to sort of augment that with the 40%. So a blackout means that
something
Something
is
serious.
up.
something is up
Yeah.
with the power system or the local power grid inside Unilag itself. So I'm not sure, because people are posting pictures of
Yeah, pictures of
I
darkness.
don't know.
Just
I don't know
pictures
what's-
of darkness.
Yeah,
like
pictures of pitch black.
it's and so it's quite a big place, you know.
It's huge.
And people are saying, mosquitoes and all that. They're
People are
comparing
taking pictures
of
them sleeping outside.
outside.
But
No, I
even
find this-
people living inside houses last night slept outside.
Yeah,
No, I'm
but
not
these
kidding.
are
No.
students.
See, students, quite all right. Yes, I know security might be the big issue.
wow.
Yeah.
But do you know, when I was going home last night, I'm talking about 10:30, 11 p.m., there were people lying down outside their houses and there was power. Like the heat was enough to drag you out of the house, whether or not you had. So I'm sure the only people who stayed indoors last night till late were probably people with AC. But most people that had only fans in their house, the fan was blowing hot air.
So, so now if you have a blackout in a place as big as that, it means so many things. It means people can't get water to use, so they can't pump water
No slave.
for the toilets to be
Did
flushed.
I say that out loud?
Yeah, so the bathrooms, nobody will be able to take showers. So even if so it's a crazy combination of
Yeah.
issues. Obviously, people won't be able to go and read. People won't even go and be able to go and hang out. You know, so it's a campus thing that they're taking very seriously, and people are sending serious tweets here.
Last week, in many areas of Lagos, there were blackouts for days. So 2, 3, 4 days. Some people were reporting up to the whole week without power, and then gradually, I think from Thursday, Friday, things started picking up again.
You know, talking about all this, I'm not trying to be sarcastic in any way, but on a lighter note, perhaps it's time to reconnect with nature until the blackout is fixed. So you might not want to pile it up in the, you know, the restroom. You might just want to go into the bush, you know.
Mary,
I'm just saying.
There's no bush in Unilag.
There is.
There's
See, those forest areas.
Come on now. Come on now.
Those forest areas.
Are you really suggesting short put here?
Yes.
Are you really suggesting?
This is not even short put. This is dig puts. You create your own pits. I'm not kidding. When you finish, you put the sand on top.
Goodness
the worst thing that can happen is someone that is really pressed and goes to open somebody else's.
Mary.
We have
elevators as well.
No, but it happens during NYC.
So in other words, Senate building, man, you climb to the top.
You have to go all the way up.
It's gonna be horrible. That's just it. But Unilag has a very beautiful environment. No doubt about it.
Should we say our hearts are with you as students? Oh yeah, you know.
She's
great
lying. See electricity here. She's telling lies.
Yeah. So for some of our viewers, if power has been restored in your area, or at least you had power over the weekend, because I know that they were really working 24 hours on it. If power has been restored, let us know. Hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. So wherever you are, whether you're in Yaba, Surulere, Ikeja,
or Unilag,
just take a picture or a selfie of your bulb and snap it and just send it to us. We'll see it. All right.
No, but camp life. It's time for us to check out tech updates on Wake Up Nigeria. We'll begin with Facebook. Facebook will offer to pay some users for voice recordings that will be used to help improve its speech recognition technology. The company announced this last Thursday. Now, the move comes after Facebook, as well as Amazon, Apple, Google, and Microsoft were caught listening to and transcribing voice recordings to improve speech recognition systems without informing customers it was doing so. Now, Facebook will let you make voice recordings as part of a new program called Pronunciations in its Viewpoints Market Research app. Now, if you qualify to be part of the program, Facebook says you'll be able to record the phrase, "Hey Portal," followed by the first name of a friend from your friends list. You'll be able to do this with the names of up to 10 friends, and you have to record each statement twice. Facebook won't be paying much for your recordings, though. If you complete one set of recordings, you get 200 points in the Viewpoints app. And you cannot cash out in the Viewpoints app until you earn at least 1,000 points. That only translates to a $5 reward via PayPal, so it depends on what you're looking for. However, Facebook says users may be offered the opportunity to make up to 5 sets of recordings, so there is the potential to meet that 1,000 point goal and get paid. Facebook also says the voice recordings users provide will not be connected to their Facebook profile, and that the company doesn't share Viewpoints activity on Facebook or other Facebook-owned services without permission. Moving on from Facebook to Twitter now, Twitter has tweaked its UI to make it easier to add new tweets to all threads. No, it's not an edit tweet feature. As you're composing a new tweet, I tried it yesterday, it worked. Let me explain. As you're composing a new tweet, you'll be able to pull down a view of your past tweets and threads into the composition window. Previously, you'd have to go back and find the thread, then add a new tweet at the end. It looks like the continue thread feature is now available to some users on Twitter's iOS app, like me, because I used it yesterday, and that's according to TechCrunch. And from that, we move to Microsoft. Microsoft has started rolling out new colorful app icons in Windows 10 today that overhaul the look and feel of the operating system. Changes to many of the built-in Windows 10 app icons have started rolling out today, but more are coming in the months ahead. It's part of what the company describes as a multi-year effort across Microsoft design teams to redesign our icons. Now, Windows has always suffered from a variety of different icons that are sometimes decades old, and Microsoft originally embarked on an effort to try to simplify some of these in Windows 10 when it first debuted nearly 5 years ago. Microsoft picked monochrome icons that were simplified but were designed for colorful live tiles that never really caught on the app. That's with app developers, of course, and Windows 10 users. And that's it on Tech Updates today on Wake Up Nigeria. Now, we have a performance coming up. It's going to be spoken word, and I'm sure you find this interesting.
You know, on Mondays here on the show, we have some great spoken word for you. And this usually comes, talking about different issues that affect individuals, affect society, and also sometimes having to do with subjects of love. And that happens a lot here on the show as well. So thank you so much for joining us, talking about our artist for today. Now, you have a piece for us this morning called Butterfly. And that is something that has to do with love.
Yep.
But you also say that you do stuff that is related to society,
Yes.
social issues. So talk to us about your art.
Okay, so I make conscious art, and that basically just goes through myself, things that relate to me, things that relate to people, and just the consciousness of how, what makes people who they are, and everything, all the elements that make that up, basically.
I'm curious about spoken word art in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know, it's picked up over the last maybe 3-4 years, but you started 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And so how has it been from when you started to now 2020 opening up?
I feel like it's a lot more accepted now than it was way back. It's a lot more accepted now than it was way back. And then I started more into music, and then poetry was just by the side, and then it developed over time.
Yeah. So do you still rap? Do you still
definitely.
okay.
Most
So
definitely.
stuff in the studio
Yeah.
and stuff. Anyway, so when you talk about the response to your work, so because I know that when it comes to spoken word and this kind of art, it's usually you have this niche audience and all these underground places that you guys go to do your performances. So what are these? Give us a sense of what it's like when you have like a performance. So you go in, what's the atmosphere like? Is everybody looking, I know that it's sort of like an alternative kind of group. So talk to us give us a feel of what it's like.
I mean, it's words, and so, it's quiet, and everybody, is paying attention to listen to, or just pick something that might relate to them, or that might help them on their journey in some way or another. So, and the response is always beautiful. I mean, if you have the audience that already understands what you're doing, it's like there is already that acceptance, so it just flows.
One of the things that I know about guys like you that do spoken word and stuff like that is that sometimes, especially when you're growing up, maybe when you're really young, you feel like a fish out of water. Like you can't really relate to people around you because you just feel like, no, I'm deep, I'm higher on a higher level. So if there's someone who's watching right now, they're young and they are looking for this kind of expression, what's the best thing that they can do?
First of all, I feel like keep your eyes open, ears open, keep your senses alive, basically, because I mean that's poetry. Being able to see things, hear things, and feel things, and put that all in words, and have something that people can consume that might relate to them, help them on their journey, but something that's tangible for people to,
Very nice, very nice. So how can I find you on social media and on YouTube and stuff like that?
MRTOBITOUN, which is Mr. Tobiton on Twitter and Instagram, Tobiton on Facebook, and Tobiton on YouTube.
All right, so this butterfly, you called it, is a recent video that you put out.
Yes.
Talk to us about what
it's a short film type, poetry, and it's on YouTube. And it basically is it dropped February 14, and it basically just centers around love and, that idea.
All right, so I'm going to do a brief introduction of Tobiton right here. Now, he is a rap musician and a spoken word artist, and independently writing his stories through music and poetry. And he brings an alternative style to rap, music, spoken word, and poetry. And of course, it displays a uniqueness and versatility in his music and in his art as well. All right, so I'm just going to let you do your thing. Butterfly, Tobiton.
Thank you. stress, your desire for more, but how your body never really got the gist. I understood, because I too have experienced Saturdays that felt like crossing a finish line first, with Sundays that followed like battlefields. But then we did something spectacular. We devoured our shells, as if saying, never again should we allow ourselves be locked in. Never again should we be talked into ourselves too long to allow intimacy. And then we did something spectacular.
Monday comes with a lot of decision making. What you do today may set the tone for the rest of the week.
That's why having a great start is the most prized and well-deserved gift that we get to share with you every morning.
The second hour of your premium family breakfast show. And this show is called Wake Up Nigeria. Thank you again for joining us.
My name is Titilayo Oyinso.
And I'm Yomi Owokwe. Now you can send in your comments on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. We'd love to hear from you. What are you up to this new week? Are you inside Unilag?
Do you have
out?
electricity?
Do you have lights in your house? When you say electricity, it sounds very...
Yeah, tush.
Like
Do you have power?
Like we're in Jan. Do you have light? That's a question right now for everybody.
But even if you don't and you have a handheld device, mobile device, you can stream with us live at tvcentertainment.tv or on Facebook Live at TVC Connect.
Yeah, we also have an app available for download for you, both on the Android and iOS store. And the app lets you watch us anywhere you are in the world.
Yeah. So, of course, we have a chef in the building. Chef Debbie is back.
Yes, so
Yes,
Chef Debbie's in the building, and she's making kaklo for us today.
Kaklo.
Yeah, no, it's actually kaklo.
Kaklo.
That's how it's pronounced, right? Kaklo, kaklo,
Kaklo.
like kaklo. It's a Ghanaian dish, and I'm sure Titi, you have this all in control because I know you're going to be in the kitchen today, while I'll just be eating. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm interested in, finding out
We'll
about
do our
cuisine.
best to see how it goes.
Cuisine from other countries is always really interesting.
Yeah.
Kaklo. Wow.
We have a second performance for you this time around from Blessed or Blessed as a versatile R&B and soul singer.
I'm trying to make this move, but I'm cheering.
For the right Monday motivation, stick around. We have Tosin Imogieme. He's going to be talking about the power of self-awareness. That's a big deal. Who am I? That question.
Now here's a question for you. Have you ever heard of ceramic wax sealant and nano ceramic coating? Well, Auto Sparkin is going to be talking about how to keep your car shining for days using this technique.
We still have more music coming. We have Wolfgang Records artist Soch in the building.
She go send you message, make you call her move, but she don't like you down for.
Growing and sustaining a business in Nigeria is not a walk in the park, and the CEO of Kijikwa Fashion will be joining us this morning. Adewale Adebaye is going to be on the show.
All right, so it's Monday, right?
Yeah.
And today is playing cards day.
Oh.
I'm not sure many people will be in the mood to do that. But you know the one that stunned me? Today is actually World Bartender Day.
Oh, for real?
And I was going to say, who's going to go to the bar today? And then I realized that when you pass bars, you still see people there on the Monday morning.
You see people at bars
Every day, every time.
But I can still remember from quite a few movies. You see the bartender as some kind of agony uncle. That's so the people sit at bars when they're basically at their lowest in most cases, in many cases, and they're drinking and they're letting go of inhibitions and they're talking to this guy that is just polishing cups.
Yeah.
A total stranger and telling them their problems. So they became like therapists.
I think bartenders should be made to have a degree, you know, some kind of psychology or stuff.
Yeah.
I think it should be a requirement. I'm not kidding, you know, because those guys, if they give you the wrong advice, you are finished. Because at that moment, the advice they're giving you is assimilating. Like, you know, you're like, oh.
I'm not sure.
We're not sure this is really
I'm not sure
the right content for this time of the day.
Yeah.
But you know, there are actually females too that take
course.
that job.
What's mixologists and things like that?
They are still bartenders.
Mixologists and bartenders
They still are.
and stuff like
They
that.
still are.
Anyhow.
We have to go to the news now. Brian is on standby.
The Supreme Court has fixed Wednesday for the hearing of the All Progressives application for a review of its judgments, which overturned its victory in the last governorship election in Bayelsa State. According to reports, the parties to the case have been served with a notice for the scheduled hearing. The disputed Apex Court's judgment was delivered barely 24 hours to the inauguration of the party's governorship candidate, David Lyon, and his running mate, Bill Barakuma Degi Eremio. The five-man panel of the court, led by Justice Mary Peter Odili, disqualified Mr. Remio's candidacy and ruled that the disqualification had rendered the joint ticket a nullity. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has commended the leadership style of Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State. The former number one citizen of the country gave the commendation during a courtesy visit to the governor's residence in Benin City. The meeting between the duo, which was held behind closed doors, lasted for a few minutes. They spoke with journalists after the meeting.
Traditionally, as somebody who has been a president, a senior political office holder, when you go to a state, you have to pay courtesy call on the chief executive of the state. If you are free, if you are not too free, fine, but at least you will inform him. So we just come to greet the young man who is trying his best.
In what would have been another disaster on the Otedola Bridge, a tanker fully loaded with 40,000 liters of premium motor spirit discharged its contents, causing panic in Lagos. According to reports, the tanker disconnected from the truck's head and in the process spilled its content. There was, however, no explosion as a result of the incident, as emergency officials were swiftly mobilized to the scene. The Lagos State Fire Service personnel and the State Emergency Management Agency officials, as well as officials of the Federal Road Safety Corps, were on ground to manage the situation. The incident locked down the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway as traffic gridlock piled up while the recovery operation was ongoing. China's National Health Commission has confirmed 150 deaths on Sunday, bringing the total death toll to 2,592, even as fatalities in South Korea hit 7. South Korea also reported 161 more cases on Monday, bringing its total number of infections to 763. South Korea raised its disease alert to the highest level due to the surge in infections and more deaths. Tobacco smoking poses a huge burden to Nigerian youths, and it remains a major global public health challenge. Civil society groups are asking the federal government to immediately start the effective implementation of the tobacco control regulations. They believe this will help to end the rise in consumption by youth who remain addicted. And recent experiences shared by Nigerian air passengers have spotlighted the challenges faced in Nigerian airports. The version of international flight from Nigeria's airport is coming during the Harmattan season and when there are inclement weather conditions. The absence of modern landing equipment is responsible for this ugly scenario, and Nigerian lawmakers are not happy about it. They say they will enact a law that will protect air passengers and ensure they are compensated once their rights are trampled upon. Passengers whose flights could not land at their specific destinations were dumped in nearby airports without being properly taken care of. They want the federal government to complete the installation of modern landing equipment across the nation's airports as a matter of urgency. And that's the news update for this hour.
In the kitchen, and guess who's here?
Debbie.
Titi and Chef Debbie. We're hanging out today and we're making something special. We talked a bit earlier about this. You said it comes from Ghana, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a bit more about what it is.
Okay, so it's a snack made with overripe plantain. Okay. It's a Ghanaian recipe. So the major ingredient is overripe plantain. So for me, I feel is like a replacement, or should I say a better replacement of puff puff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we'll be adding some peppers, onion, and some corn meal.
Okay. Okay. You know what? Let's go through those ingredients so that we can give people a perspective. That's what we have on the screen now. It's called kaklo, right?
Yeah.
With peanut dip. Oil, salt, onions, ginger, overripe plantain, yaji, garlic, pepper, cornmeal, and peanut butter. That's what we have here. Is there anything that isn't on that list here now? Or that is just the cucumber?
Yeah, for the punch.
Okay, so this is for something else, completely different. All right, let's take that out there. So what's the first thing we need to do?
So I already mashed the overripe plantain.
Okay.
So I'll be adding some of the ingredients.
Okay.
I'll add in, this is
What is that?
garlic.
Garlic powder.
Yeah, garlic powder.
Fresh
powder. Garlic powder.
So those overripe plantain, how many days old was that plantain?
I actually bought it from the market.
Oh, you
like
bought
that.
it like that? Okay,
Yeah.
they do sell it that way.
Then this is ginger as well.
Ginger powder?
Yeah.
So if I used fresh ginger, would it be as effective?
Yeah, but you need to either blend it or chop it very fine.
Okay, so ginger powder, garlic powder in.
This is yaji.
Yaji, basically the suya spice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually optional.
Optional?
With fresh chili, you're fine. So I'll be adding fresh chili now.
So that's a lot of chili.
Not really.
Not really?
Yeah.
So when you say chili, you're talking about
This is
the Scotch
yeah,
bonnet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll add in some onion as well.
Chopped onions going in.
Yeah.
Is everything just going to go into one bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
Then you mold it into a ball and fry. Okay. So I'll be adding the cornmeal. This is just a normal corn, but toasted. Just the way you make when you want to make donkwa. You know how they toast the corn on fire, then blend.
Okay. So
you going in as well.
This is fresh corn put
Toasted.
roasted or toasted,
Yeah.
and then blended down.
Yeah. You can actually use all-purpose flour,
Okay.
but this is actually a better option.
So it's not corn starch; it's corn meal.
Yeah, cornmeal.
Beautiful. So she's put in the garlic powder. She put in ginger powder. She put in yaji.
Then a pinch of salt.
She put in chilies, and now the salt.
So we're just going to mold this. Our oil is already on the pan. We're going to mold. You can either use your spoon or your hand.
Okay, can
The
you
way-
show us one quickly?
Okay, yeah.
Very quickly, just show us one molded kaklo, rather?
Kaklo, yeah.
Got you. All right, so she's going to be molding this, and I guess you're going to be
you
dropping it into the oil.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's it.
And it's as simple as that. Okay. Now, we are going to continue making these fried delicacies from Ghana. And while we do that, we're going to be taking a quick break and be back with so much more.
All right, it is time for our second performance today, the first being spoken word, of course. And this time it's by Blessed, A.K. I think he likes to be called Blessed, right? Yeah, Blessed. Fantastic. Now he's popularly known as Blessed, as I said. He's a versatile R&B and soul singer, and he is about to perform a love song, which also is his first single. What are you performing for us this morning? Make Me Feel. Okay. So when I heard Blessed, I just thought to myself, oh, we're going to be in the spirits this morning. And then you're saying, okay, so you're going to make us feel ourselves being in the spirit this morning. Is that it?
Not the gospel way. Though.
Not the gospel way.
Yeah, not the gospel
way. Okay. So you've been doing music for a while now.
Yeah.
And I know you were on Project Fame.
Yeah.
At least you were behind the scenes. You almost made it into the house before school didn't allow you go.
Yeah.
So what are your biggest influences when it comes to music?
Okay, so I'll say Marvin Gaye. I'll say Alicia Keys. I'll say Timi Dakolo for Nigeria. I'll say Praise. Yeah, like.
Okay, so you know what? I'm not going to ask you anymore. I'm just going to let you make us feel things,
Yeah,
and you're
sure.
better.
Yeah, definitely.
Blessed on this one.
man with a tight lip. Oh, this is how you make me feel. This is how you make me feel. Like a little kid with a.
Welcome back. It's time for us to have our usual Monday motivation. And Tosin Imogiame is a public speaker, soft skill trainer, and emotional intelligence expert. He's also an author. You were talking about, he had a book out last year called Pain is Gain. And he's joining us on the show this morning. He's talking about the power of self-awareness and why this is so important, especially, I mean, in this year, 2020. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
It's my pleasure again, Yami.
Self-awareness, you know, people talk about that in a manner that, you know, there are different definitions to it. And most of the time, people have their own interpretation of what self-awareness is and their own perception and all of that. But what do you say it is when it comes to talking about self-awareness?
Okay, irrespective of whatever anyone calls it, basically what it means is knowing thyself. Know yourself. You know, banks have this phrase, know your customer, KYC.
Yeah.
But in this form, it's knowing yourself. You see, for example, you are a product. It's like buying an iPhone. You cannot maximize the use of that iPhone if you do not know how to. Do you understand? If you're not aware of its capacity.
Right.
So as a human being, you must know who you are, knowing your capacity, and it's all encompassing. It's knowing your purpose, knowing your emotions, knowing your temperament, knowing everything about you. And, you know, because man is phenomenal, you can, till you die, you'll never be able to know the degree of your potential. Every day you tend to discover new things about yourself. So it's just basically knowing who you are, knowing everything about yourself, understanding your emotions.
Now, in the 21st century, in the digital age, somebody might argue that because of the level of expression that we now have in general, in everything that we do, that based on that, we already know ourselves. You understand? So a teenager sitting, taking selfies and talking about how she feels or how he feels about something is already him knowing himself. And so they might argue that why is it now something that you want to make an issue, so to speak? So is there something deeper about knowing yourself or about self-awareness that people should be aware of, especially now in this age where, you know, there's just this onslaught of information here and there?
Yes. Now, there's a saying that you are not a drop in an ocean. Rather, you are an ocean in one drop. You are an entire ocean in one drop. What it means is that what you have within you is enormous. When you were 10 years, what you knew is different from what you know now. When you're 20, and what you get to know in 5 years' time would be, you get to know more things about yourself. So every day you're unveiling more about yourself. You're getting, so it's much more deeper. You know, people who say that sincerely, they are shallow-minded, because every day you get to know, there are things, there are skills you never knew you had. But as you grow, as you develop, as you get to know more about yourself. So it's like I said, till you die, till you leave this world, you tend to discover more things about yourself. And it's actually broken down in 3 different parts. The very first one is emotional self-awareness. Now, emotional self-awareness is basically knowing what you're feeling, how you're feeling it, and why you are feeling it. Why do you feel fear? Why do you why are you jealous? Why are you scared? Do you understand? These are emotions. Let me give you a practical example, although I'll have to, delve into the scriptures. Now, when Cain killed Abel, he had an emotion because they had to give a sacrifice to God, an offering. And his own was rejected while Abel's own was accepted. And by virtue of that, he felt jealous of his brother. Now, because Cain wasn't emotionally self-aware, he couldn't interpret his emotions well. You know, naturally, when you have your friend, your brother succeed while you fail, it's natural that you feel, because naturally man is meant to dominate. Man is meant to conquer, succeed. So when you do not, you feel bad. So how do you interpret that feeling? Naturally, you want to do better. So he ought to have known that he wants to do better. What that emotion was feeling was meant to tell him that next time you ought to do better. But because he couldn't read his emotion, he couldn't interpret his emotion properly, he misinterpreted it, and then he killed his brother because he saw his brother as a threat.
No, so what you're saying now is that when you have crimes of passion like that, you know, somebody is upset about something, unhappy, they should be able to take a step back and assess.
Think about it. Why am I feeling what I'm feeling? If, for example, you have a spouse and she does something wrong, perhaps you see her with someone else, and you feel hot, think to yourself, why am I feeling this? Of course, she's done something wrong. Then that's why I'm feeling this way. Then you should be able to have that conversation with him or her. So that's it. The second one is accurate self-assessment. Now, this is basically knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. You must be able to know what you're capable of. You should be able to know, and more importantly, you should also know your weaknesses. A fish that doesn't know that it is weak on land is headed for doom. A fish needs to know that my area of strength is in water. So you must know your strength, and you must also know your weaknesses. There are times you go for a job interview and then you're required to talk about what you can do. You should be able to tell, this is what I can do, this is what I'm capable of doing.
So what you're saying is that this will require a degree of honesty as well, because obviously, I mean, in this day and age, if I went for a job interview, I would probably tell them that I can do all things.
True Christ has said it.
You know, because they go, can you do this? Oh, yes, I can. You know, so because usually that's the kind of mindset that is also being driven, even right now in the motivational circles. Ensure you focus on your.
Let me give you a practical example. There's this movie, Pursuit of Happiness, by Will Smith. He was the main protagonist in that movie. There was a time he was supposed to get a job, and then he went for an interview. And they asked him a question he couldn't answer properly. And then he said, let me tell you something. I'm the kind of guy that when I don't know anything, I will tell you I don't. But I will find a way, or I'll learn how to do that thing. That's accurate self-assessment. I mean, of course, you can't know it all. But you have the zeal, the will to go all the mile to learn what it takes. And he believes he could learn it. And of course, it's not just what you say, but how you say it. You can perceive the confidence in, at which you say, body language is 55%, tone of voice 38%, spoken word is just 7%. So what you're saying, spoken word just 7%, so 93% of what you're not saying comes from your body language and your tone of voice.
Okay, so now you've touched on two subjects. Now you talked about
the final one, which is
emotional awareness. Emotional awareness. You've also talked about accurate self-assessment. But with the accurate self-assessment, how honest should you be when you're doing your self-assessment? Because when you're being honest, then you're now talking about, oh, I'm weak in this area, and I am strong in this area. Right. So what am I supposed to engage myself with it, or I should get somebody else to say, could you assess me? Do an accurate assessment of myself?
Of course, because there's always a part of you that you cannot see. It's called the blind spot. There's a saying that butterflies cannot see their wings. Everyone else can see it, but they can. So there's a part of your soul that you may not know, but people would bring your eyes to it. But the point is, like the example that I gave you, Will Smith said, I'm capable of learning. I'm capable of growing. I'm not just going to drown in my weaknesses. Right. I have this capacity. And, I mentioned confidence, which leads us to the final one. Confidence is one sense of self-worth. Right. Let me give you a vivid example. There was a basketballer who was very, very skilled at, playing basketball. And then his coach wanted to perform an experiment, and they took him, and then he was dunking ball. He, dunked the ball 10 times out of 10. There was an audience. So what they did, they blindfolded him, and they asked him to try it out again. And because he was blindfolded, he missed out about 4 to 5 shots. Right. So they took out, they removed and then they asked him to try it out. Now, seeing he couldn't dunk it 10 out of 10. Why? Because when he was losing, when he was blindfolded and he was losing, the audience were making sounds. And he was gradually losing his confidence.
Right.
And so when eventually took out, what was, he couldn't, that confidence killed.
Had already been depleted.
Yes,
yeah.
he had, made him lose his, in fact, that he lost his confidence. He couldn't, his abilities were not put to perfect use.
Right.
If you look at, I always like to use lawyers as an example. Lawyers they have great confidence, and one of the greatest, if you look at some of the greatest leaders we've had in the world, they've been lawyers. Mahatma Gandhi, Barack Obama, Fashola.
So these are the guys who were able to assess and also take advantage of the self-confidence that they had. We have to round off at this point. I wanted to ask you a few more questions regarding especially the self-awareness part, okay. But we do have to go now and head on over to the kitchen where the guys are. Titi, what's happening over there in the kitchen?
What is happening is we are preparing something savory and sweet at the same time. So Chef Debbie has been hard at work with her, you have to pronounce it for me again.
Kaklo.
Kaklo. I'll get it right one day. But now we're going to be making the peanut sauce as quickly as possible. So we have here some ground nuts. So this is ground nuts. Grounded nuts. Not groundnuts, grounded nuts. Yeah. And she's putting some onions into the pan. So these nuts, you're saying you ground them yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you do that?
With what is it called? Food processor.
Oh, okay. And you just threw the nuts into the processor?
Yeah. The oil actually came out from it. I didn't add anything.
Interesting, interesting. All right. So the onions and the nuts are in the pan there. You put some oil in the pan?
Yeah, just a little.
Just a little.
So I'll add more.
What's that?
Garlic.
That's garlic. Garlic powder?
Yeah.
And
ginger
powder.
Well.
Okay. And then, of course,
some sugar.
Some sugar. So how many spoons of sugar are we talking now?
Let's say 1 tablespoon.
1 tablespoon of sugar. All right.
Thank you.
So what am I looking out for with this
is a dip. It's going to go with the kaklo.
All right. I guess we're looking for a particular consistency. It's not supposed to be too hard?
Yeah, not too hard and not too
soft.
Yeah.
All right. And when she's done with this is going to go by the side on the plate with these kaklos in plural, I guess. And now this is a really nice savory treat. I've learned something new now. Hopefully you have as well. You should try it at home and send us videos and use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC so we can see them. Gonna be starting the next hour of the show right now.
Now, if Wake Up Nigeria is part of your morning routine, you will realize how important it is to wake up in the morning, counting your blessings.
It's very important.
Naming them one by one.
and it will surprise you what the Lord
has done.
You had to complete it, didn't you? Now, welcome. The third hour of the show begins now. If you missed the first 2 hours, we still have about 45 minutes of undiluted, entertaining content for you. And we're going to be doing that from now on. All you have to do is stay right there with us. My name is Titilayo Oyinson.
And I'm Yomi Oki. Get online right now. Stream with us on tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
Send in those comments, even your prayer messages, or maybe a special stanza from a special hymn. Use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC.
Now, if you haven't yet, you can download our app both on the Android and iOS stores, and the app allows you to watch us from anywhere you are in the world.
We have Auto Sparkle, the waterless car interior detailing company. They will be joining us very soon. They'll be demonstrating paint protection with ceramic wax sealant and nano ceramic coating. That should be interesting.
It's artist Soch. And sustaining a growing business in Nigeria has been never been easy, but join Kijiba fashion label Adewale Adegbai, who's going to be joining us on the show today. He has a twist, a different twist on his fashion, and but very nice though, and very, very creative.
Yeah,
I like it when guys do that.
Of course.
So Social Media Week is starting today.
Yes.
Which is good. It's starting in several countries around the world, not just in Nigeria. And I like that it brings people together across every industry. Media, financial sector, insurance,
manufacturing, everything.
Manufacturing, medicine, everything brings them together in one place and talks about what's happening. Makes predictions about what will happen, and of course, it tries to interpret what happened before. So what happened last year, year before that, and all that. So it's very nice.
I know Yomi was at an exclusive event yesterday. Exclusive because there were just about 100 people invited, and Yomi was one of those 100 people. No, I'm actually not kidding.
Okay.
I think that's the event Chimamanda was.
Yeah. Anyway, for the Social Media Week though. TVC has, we've got a special day tomorrow. Where we're going to be talking about the future of media and how, asking questions. Is traditional media dying? Traditional media like TVC, like what we're doing, like where we are now, is it dying? Is it being taken over by digital? So
that's a good question.
That still doesn't change the fact that you were there yesterday. You had a selfie with Chimamanda. Don't try to change it up.
Okay. In terms of media being there for a long time, I feel because it's free to air, it still will be there for quite a long time. But because the digital age is fast coming upon us, we're also streaming as well. We're making sure we're on all the online platforms.
At this rate, I think if you tell Nigerians to pay 100 or 200 naira to subscribe for a station, station LAGL. I know we have the news right now. Ibrahim is on standby.
Welcome to the news again. The Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Lawrence Erujapo, has denied allegations that he forged his National Youth Service Scheme Exception Certificate submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission. Mr. Erujapo, who spoke through his counsel, explained that there was an error in his name in the certificate issued to him, and it has since been rectified by the NYC. He adds that issues relating to his NYC exemption certificate were already in the public domain before his nomination as People's Democratic Party deputy governorship candidate in the last election. But the All Progressives Congress says it has uncovered plan by the Bayelsa's deputy governor and the PDP to swap the allegedly forged NYC certificate presented for elections. According to the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Yakini Nabina, the party has already obtained the certificate true copies of the alleged forged certificate. He also warns both INEC and NYC to be cautious and not fall to pressure or move by the Deputy Governor and the PDP. It will be recalled that the Abuja Area Court on Wednesday ordered the Department of State Security Service to investigate the NYC certificate forgery allegation against the Bayelsa Deputy Governor. And former President Goodluck Jonathan has commended the leadership style of Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State. The former #1 citizen of the country gave the commendation during a courtesy visit to the governor's residence in Benin City. The meeting between the duo, which was held behind closed doors, lasted for a few minutes. They spoke with journalists after the meeting.
Traditionally, as somebody who has been a president, a senior political office holder, when you go to a state, you have to pay courtesy call on the chief executive of the state. If you are free, if you are not too free, fine, but at least he will inform you. So we just come to greet the young man who is trying his best.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan there. Now, in what would have been another disaster in the Otedola Bridge, a tanker fully loaded with 40,000 litres of premium motor spirits discharged its content, causing panic in Lagos. According to reports, the tanker disconnected from the truck's head and in the process spilled its content. There was, however, no explosion as a result of the incident, as emergency officials were swiftly mobilized to the scene. The Lagos State Fire Service personnel and the State Emergency Management Agency officials, as well as officials of the Federal Road Safety Corps, were on the ground to manage the situation. The incident locked down the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway as traffic gridlock piled up while the recovery operation was ongoing. China's National Health Commission has confirmed 150 deaths on Sunday, bringing the total death toll to 2,592, even as fatalities in South Korea hit 7. South Korea also reported 161 more cases on Monday, bringing its total number of infections to 763. South Korea raised its disease alerts to the highest level due to the surge in infections and more deaths. Tobacco smoking poses a huge burden to Nigerian youths, and it remains a major global public health challenge. Civil society groups are asking the federal government to immediately start the effective implementation of the tobacco control regulations. They believe this will help to end the rising consumption by youth who remain addicted. And that's all on the news update at this hour. Bye now.
Thank you for staying tuned. Time for the auto segment on Wake Up Nigeria. And with me is Jesse Onomiwo of Auto Sparkle. I know you have a different name for when you talk about the exterior of your cars. That's Auto Sparkle Prestige.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so what are we learning today?
Okay, so today we're talking about paint protection.
Paint protection.
Yes,
okay.
yes, and there are different approaches to this.
Okay.
Today we'll be demonstrating ceramic wax sealant.
Okay.
And then we'll also talk about nano ceramic coating.
Okay, so let's get started.
Okay, so this
which one are we beginning with?
Yeah, this portion of the car has been polished already.
Okay.
And then the ceramic wax sealant will be applied now.
Okay.
So we'll look into how that works.
Okay.
So basically, the objective of protecting your paint is to keep it the way it is originally, to preserve the shine, the gloss, to prevent it from fading.
Okay.
You know, especially in this part of the world,
okay.
Africa, the tropical region,
okay.
we have a lot of sunlight and everything. So
okay.
to prevent the UV rays from the sun to, you know, cause fades on the paints,
yeah.
it's good to do something like this, especially when you just get your car or you just resprayed your car.
Okay.
It's advisable to go for nano ceramic coating.
Okay.
Nano ceramic coating
when I hear nano, I'm thinking scratches, breaking.
Yeah. So that's a sharp one.
Okay.
So nano ceramic coating, it's like a layer of glass.
Okay.
That is formed on the surface of the paint.
With liquid.
Yeah, with liquid. Okay, so that prevents minor scratches from coming on the car because there's a protective coat that is on the paint.
Okay.
Now there's something about nano ceramic coating that they call 9H hardness. So you do like a test with pencils.
Okay.
Pencils have different stages of hardness. So the highest is 9H.
Okay.
But nano ceramic coating can resist the hardness of a 9H pencil.
Wow.
You understand? So it prevents scratches,
now,
it prevents other things from
Would
happening.
you advise someone to do the ceramic coating and then put the nano on it, or one is enough? Like
No,
either
so
of
the
them?
thing is, the level of hardness on nano ceramic coating is way higher than that on the wax sealant. You understand? So, and the wax sealants don't last so long. You have
true.
from 3 months to 12 months.
6 months,
Yeah, but nano ceramic coating could go from 1 year to like 2 years to 5 years, depends on the
So
level.
you're telling me that if I want to get this done on my car, I should budget that every year at least I get this done.
Yeah, you should. Okay, so it depends on what you choose to do. So if you are doing a wax sealant, every 3 months.
Every 3
is
months
fine.
is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then if you're doing like a nano ceramic coating, the offer we have right now is for 18 months.
18 months?
Yes.
Okay.
So after 18 months, you can reapply.
Okay.
And then to keep that level, it's not like after that 18 months, your paint starts to fade immediately, but it's just that you want to keep it that way, so you reapply.
So this has been preserved, obviously.
Yes.
It looks really good. It's shiny.
So apart from the protection, it also adds a level of gloss to the paint. And then there's another thing that you need to know about all these protective mechanisms is that it prevents watermarks from developing on the car. So when we're done now, we do like a water test.
Okay, so we
So
pour
the water
water.
is going
It's
to
going to slide up.
Yes.
Ooh, I like this. Okay.
We're going to do that shortly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I see that when he was doing the
sealant
covering
application, yeah?
Yeah, he used a jar. Is it something that one can buy at any store?
No, it's not. It's not something you can just easily find on the shelf. We have like special suppliers.
Okay.
What you can find in the store are like regular waxes made of canoba and stuff like that.
Okay.
This is ceramic wax. You understand? So
But it's
different
not
from
expensive after all.
the service is not that expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a preservative.
So let's take a close look at what's being done. So this is literally before. Just a minute. This is literally before and this is after. So on the before, I can barely see my face.
Yes.
And on the after, I can see him clearly as if he's standing upside down.
Yeah. There's a reflection right now.
Yes, so this is actually really, really clear. Okay, so let's quickly do the water test.
Okay.
So we're going to put a bit of water so you can see exactly how effective this actually is.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a process that doesn't take long, obviously.
No, it doesn't.
But
you have to polish the car first.
Yeah,
so
that's
this
what I was about to say. Was
already.
the polishing done a long time before or?
No, just a few minutes before.
Just a few minutes
Yes,
before?
yes.
Okay, so it doesn't really take that long.
Come this
All
way.
right, so we're going to do the water test now so you see exactly what it looks like with this done. Okay, so just a bit of water. Oh.
You can see beading off.
Yeah, so it's beading instead.
Can you see
okay,
the
there's a
difference?
clear difference.
So look at this.
Okay, the other one. And there you go. So it's just going to go off.
Fall off, yeah.
Which means that you have less likelihood of dust as well.
Yeah. So the dust will not stick on the surface of it. So
and it's easier to wash off.
falls off. It's easier to wash as well.
Wow.
Then if you live in an area that has salt water, you won't have all these marks on your car because the water won't stay on the surface of the car.
Oh, this is fantastic.
So it preserves.
This is like a cheat mode for protecting your car.
Yes,
so it stays
so
longer lasting, of course. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Jesse and Omo. All right, so that's it on Auto Segment today, talking about trying to make sure your cars sparkle, look good and all. We're heading back into the studio. I'm sure something fantastic is about to happen.
Yeah, I think my car needs a spit and polish, something nice from these guys. Don't let them go, Mary. Don't let them go yet. We have an amazing performer here with us, Sochima Leonard Eze, music recording artist signed to Wolfgang Records. He started his music journey in 2009, started making music professionally in 2018 as a writer, recording artist, and performer. Soch is his stage name, and his music is mostly influenced by his life experiences. Now, in January this year, he released his first official single, Monkey. And I guess that's what you're performing today?
Yes.
Yeah, use your mic, darling. Yeah, we perform. Okay, so there's not much time for me to talk to you though, but I love the fact that, you know, the song's called Monkey.
Yes, it's monkey.
Monkey.
Yeah, it's not monkey.
All right.
It's monkey.
Let me step out and let you.
All right, then. No problem.
Take it away.
Thank you.
Like play, she done the push man to the wall. Oh, the don, she sabi say she dey make him man want to lose control when she shake it bum bum. Another car key, another mansion. Sister, she you want to key another.
Welcome back. Now, when this gentleman started his business, some 12 years ago, people didn't give him a chance. Some considered the name House of Kijipa hilarious. But today, this dynamic young gentleman has taken Kijipa couture to the next level. His leather shoes, slippers, and belts are stocked by shops all over the world. Now, he recently launched his Kiji Boss collection. I like that name, Kiji Boss, which the big boys in town cannot resist. So how did Adewale achieve all of this? And he's here to tell us the story behind it. You might find some of his styles a bit different, a bit eccentric, but it's still, you know, very, very exciting when you see some of his stuff. And anyway, 12-year journey, Adewale. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, sir.
Really nice to be with you, Yomi.
Yeah, look, the first question I always tell people when I meet entrepreneurs is, I don't know how you do it and how you do it in this economy, but thumbs up to you. This has been a 12-year journey for you. Just take us briefly on that journey over the next 1 minute. Let's know exactly how you started, why you started, and how you got to this point.
Well, it's been quite a journey, an interesting one at that. You know, I actually hit the scene at a point when the fashion industry in Nigeria was not ripe enough for Nigerians to know that they need to start, consuming the Nigerian product. There was a time when it was the in thing for people to actually look outwards. You know, it was that time that, the cliche, it's imported, was, part of the, the norms, when we started. And then I remember vividly, it was always all about the freeze, so everybody thought, okay, so you start a business, clothing business, and then it's not all about them seeing the value you've come to add. It's all about them seeing and thinking that they have to add value to you, by consuming your products. And then I remember vividly that, one of the in thing for me then was particularly to make sure that I hit the notes, and then put the, right pegs in the right holes by creating masterpieces that will rival or compete with the international market brands, products, And then we started out, creating the leather lines because we didn't have enough resources to start the clothing line. And I remember vividly that the first piece of my product that I ever sold to get, cash for was actually at a banking hall, somewhere in Lagos here. And then it was because I was having that piece on, and then somebody saw it and said, who made this for you? And then the person bought it, and I was like, oh, wow. So I just made history today. And then, I remember that I started in Bagada, in just a room, and then I started, using my name, and then I thought about creating an eclectic, African piece that would sell the African lifestyle to the world, #1, and then attract people to me. And then, I created the first piece, and I thought, so how am I going to sell this? So we thought about the dramatic name, and then it just came to my mind that I should use an African name to sell an African product to the whole world.
I like the story. It's one thing for you to be an artist or someone who is a creator and you want to start something new and push it out there and even give it a name. So it's one thing to start something, give it a name, and it's another thing to sell it. You understand?
Yeah.
So you talked about making your first sale in a banking hall. Somebody approached you and said, oh, did you make that? And then you bought it. But after that, how do you then have a marketing plan or a sales plan? How did you eventually begin to say, okay, you know what, this was my first. I'm going to start pushing this material out and engaging the general public to be able to see the value of it.
So first of all, I talked about, what value do you have to add? And then, I thought about, creating quality masterpieces. And then beyond creating quality masterpieces lies the fact that you need to satisfy and relate with, people's psyches, psychology. So I thought about, creating quality masterpieces and then relating it to people's lifestyle across the world, particularly African lifestyle. And then that way, I knew who my customers were, know your customer, and then I thought about reaching out to them. So it was all about distributing, the product electronically or manually, so we got, to negotiate for chains of stores that could, stock us as RTW, while we marketed ourselves, of course, creating, very super masterpieces for clients that, would want to reorder because they're satisfied with the pieces. And then after they reorder, then they become a part of your brand, you know, because they are, you know, customers that are won through quality services.
I like that. I like the angle that you're coming from. But, you know, it's today everybody's talking about Africa to the world, you know. When you go to Canada, the US, Europe, people are buying African craft and African materials. But was it difficult at the early stage for you to be able to sell Africa? You know, because I mean, you were talking about 12 years ago, you talked about the fact that people liked imported things. So if you're wearing a tie or a suit or whatever it is, once you say it's imported, everybody's like, ah, okay, this is a rich guy. So how was it difficult at the beginning to sell Africa to Africans and also internationally as well?
So I'll take your question this way. I would like to say that the timing was ripe, you know. Taking it back to like about 30 years ago within the Nigerian fashion industry, it was a no-no for an RTW, a ready-to-wear line from a fashion designer in Nigeria. You know, I wouldn't even think about it. You know, it was kind of like a messy thing. You know, as a consumer within the fashion market, you know, I'm taking myself as a consumer. And then down the line, I thought that the time was just ripe. You know, people just got doing things right almost around the same time, and then Nigerians got aware of what we have within us, the values we can offer within us, and then the world's attention drew close to, you know, the African market, particularly Nigerian market. I give kudos to Nigerian fashion designers because they're doing amazingly, and I think they're just inspiring the rest of the world. I remember clearly, just to diversify a little bit, at the GT Fashion Week in 2018, the Gucci designer, the Dapper Dan Gucci partner designer saw my design and wowed, and they actually bought my designs at that show.
Wow.
You know, so that's how far we've gone, how far well we've gone. So I'd say that the journey has been tough, you know, but along the line, the market got prepared, you know, the world got prepared for Africa to shine, and then it was the right time, and then the right people came on board, and then, you know, the market got stirred up, and we have what we have today.
That's absolutely amazing. I mean, right now, I mean, so now you're doing your leather gear on the one hand,
it's a line,
and then you have your ready-to-wear clothing line as well.
And then we do bespoke as well. So we're just like a traditional tailor to people that comes across our way.
Very nice, very nice. How can I find your social media?
We're on Kijipa Couture on all social media handles. KIJIPA COUTURE www.kijipacouture.com on our website official.
Yeah, thank you so much. I wanted this conversation to last a bit longer, but we're not able to take any more questions. I wanted to go deeper into the industry itself, how you guys source your materials, go to the markets, and how much money you're making now, even though you might not tell me.
It's a crazy process.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, the passion and then, you know, the will to want to add value is actually what my personal drive is, and I think that's what every other fashion entrepreneur strives as well.
That's amazing. Adewale, thank you so much for joining us. You're going to also be joining us in the kitchen this morning.
Ooh, wow.
Taking you to breakfast. And Titi and yes, indeed. Right. Titi and Mary are already in the kitchen with our chef Ify, and we're going to Ghana.
Oh, really?
This morning, yes.
I went to Ghana last year.
Yeah. Please have a seat over here.
Thank you so very much. Hi, Titi. Hi, Chef.
Is this Chef Debbie?
Oh, Chef Debbie.
Hi.
Please have a seat. Oh, thank you.
Chef Debbie has made us a Ghanaian delicacy. Tell us a bit about it.
Okay, this is kaklo. It's a Ghanaian snack made with overripe plantain.
Kaklo.
Yeah.
Kaklo, okay.
An overripe. It's made with overripe plantain, then with some onion, peppers, and all. So it's actually something you can. I feel it's actually a better replacement of puff puff.
Okay, better
Okay, but what's that on the side again?
Okay. This is a peanut sauce.
Peanut sauce.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can start from anywhere.
Yes, you can.
Is this all for me?
Yes, for you to taste at least. Please, this is also something she made.
Pineapple punch.
Pineapple punch.
Yeah.
Looks fresh.
Let me pour some of that.
A little bit of pineapple punch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So breakfast is served. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Please let us know what
Let us know what you think. And while Adewale is
am I supposed to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Straight ahead.
Dip it into the. So that's peanut sauce.
Yeah.
I think you just took me on a spiritual trip to Ghana, and I found myself back to TVC.
Nice.
Feels good.
All right.
And then the sauce feels very creamy.
All right.
Yeah.
And I like spice as well. So thanks for the red and green spice.
Thank you.
This guy.
Honestly, that's what we wanted to hear. We love it when our chefs do us proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Big thank you to Homely NG for the kitchen accessories on the show.
And of course, a big shout out to everyone who's been on the show throughout the day. It's been a really great show today.
It has. It has.
An amazing Monday,
It
I have to
has.
say.
And thanks so much, everyone, for joining us on the show
Thank you
today.
so much, Yomi.
And
Thank you,
all the
Titi.
best with the Kijikwa brand.
Yes.
Thank you.
And for those of you who are wondering when we're going to be back, we will be here bright and early tomorrow from 6 a.m.
Yes, indeed.
Make sure you tune in.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.